Here's a little story about a man named Jim. He's a long-time queer-hating Republican. That one day he was sitting bitching at the news, 'cause homos were fighting for their right to get married too.
I'm talking about homosexuals. They got no use for them.
Next thing you know came liberal Michael Moore. Old Jim started bitching like he never bitched before. Then he thought public access where I ought to be. So he packed up his newspaper and started bitching on TV.
Gee whiz.
Jim's his name. Ignorant Jim. You're watching the Ignorant Jim Show.
Today, John Kerry is coming out now with George W. Bush. The W stands for wrong. The W stands for this. W stands for wrong. Well, I'll tell you what John F. Kennedy stands for. The F stands for fraud or fake. Okay, let's see who's online too. Hello?
Hey there, Jimmy.
Hey.
I will tell you what. I served down there in the Congo with John Kerry for about a month and a half.
You served where?
I served over in Nam with John Kerry.
With him?
With him. Same unit.
You were right on his boat with him?
Well, we wasn't exactly on the same boat. We was in the same company, though.
He was in the same company, so you were right there in the same area.
Right there in the same area with
Yeah.
him. And I tell you what, we saw a fire one day, and I have never seen a grown man run so fast in my life.
Yeah?
He pissed himself. This man is a scared man. He's not fit for our office. I tell you what, he leaves this country, I can tell you what, we'll have a bunch of pansies running around here.
Girly men.
Yellow bellies.
That's what's his name out there in California? He called them girly men.
Yep, the governor.
Yeah.
Tell you what, that guy there, now there's a leader.
Well, I'll tell you,
He might not be well spoken, this guy. You know, he can't even put 3 words together without fumbling them. But
yeah.
I tell you what, he's got more guts than that gutless John Kerry.
Yeah. I'll go along with that, and I'll tell you, there's just so many things that has come up about John Kerry's service. And, you just, when there's enough, it just piles up, and you just got to start believing at least some of it. So
I tell you what, have you ever seen a grown man dive to the ground with a balloon popped?
With what?
Have you ever seen a grown man dive to the ground with a balloon popped?
Oh.
John Kerry do it twice in the field. This guy ain't nothing. I tell you what, I like you to be keep being spoken out about this. We don't need that guy in office.
No, I agree with you 100%. I'll tell you, every time you hear this guy, it gets worse and worse. Before the convention, before the Democratic convention, there was commentators on, and they said, the only thing with John Kerry that the people had to get to know him better. Well, boy, we sure have. And it's starting to show up in the polls, which is encouraging.
I got a good gig going. I got a min-wax my fake leg, so I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay. Thanks a bunch for the call.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing this evening?
Good. How are you?
I'm swell.
You what?
I'm swell.
You're swell. Oh, that's good. Okay. What can we do for you tonight?
Well, I was just wondering if we're getting, I know the past couple weeks I've been watching, I haven't called in though, but there's been a lot of talk about gay marriage.
Yeah.
Yes. And I've noticed that you said on a couple of occasions that you don't have any use for homosexuals.
That's right.
Yes. And, well, being a homosexual myself, I was kind of bothered by that statement because I was wondering what does sexual preference have to do with someone standing in society?
Well, homosexuality is like doing drugs or smoking cigarettes or drinking whiskey or anything else. That's a choice. And I know you're going to come up with, oh, no, it's not, I just was born this way and so on and so forth. You're tempted all through life with all kinds of temptations. Gee, they teach you about that in the Bible right from page 1. So temptation is one thing. Resisting it is another thing. And overcoming it is the thing. So, smoking cigarettes, I used to smoke cigarettes. Oh, I'm addicted. Oh, get out of here with that addiction bit. You're not addicted. That's your choice. You're smoking cigarettes because they taste good. You like to smoke cigarettes.
Yes, I can. But I was going to say, I wasn't born homosexual.
No, that's right. I watched the newspaper. I told you that last week. Remember? Boy, boy, girl, girl, like that.
Exactly. I'm comfortable with my sexuality. I wasn't born like this. I just like men.
Yeah, well, I like men too.
Well, that's
I got a lot of friends that are men. Gee whiz, there's nothing wrong with liking a man.
well,
It's what you do with the man that's where you get in trouble. See?
Just like being with men, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, I do know what you mean, and that's what I'm telling you. That's where you're getting in trouble. It's wrong, and everybody knows it, including you, but you're not going to accept it. You're going to just keep on doing wrong. So that's your choice, but I'm going to protest it.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for your call. Okay, here's another thing that I just wrote down. I seen this on television the last couple of days on a commercial about a new program coming on. The name of the program is Girls Behaving Badly. And they've got, scenes on there of young girls behaving badly. Now, what that means, I don't have the slightest idea. It's just a commercial. But you can assume what it means. And gee whiz, what is going on in this society? Where is the morality? Girls behaving good would be a program maybe somebody would want to watch, but behaving badly? Gee whiz, it's bothersome. Okay, we got a call on line 2. Hello?
Hey,
Hey.
you said that it's a question of choices, and we are faced with temptations,
That's right.
and that we have to make the proper choices when faced with these temptations. And that leads me to think that you've been tempted by other guys, and you've made a conscious choice not to become sexually involved with them, or was it just from birth that you've never had an attraction towards man?
Well, I don't quite follow your line of thought here that I've
Well, it's mine.
never had attraction to men. I mean, I loved my father, I loved my brothers. I've worked with guys that, I thought the world of, and, probably guys that, I would have stood up, and I have stood up for and fought for.
Yeah, I'm glad you clarified that.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, you've never been tempted by a man. You've never felt...
I've had guys, in when you're on the road. Now, I haven't seen it lately, but I've seen it several years ago where you pull into one of these rest stops, and these guys hanging around in there, and they come in, and, you go into the bathroom, and they're all eyes, Boy, don't mess with me, mister. So, I don't know whether you call that tempted or not.
Tempted is you would actually have some desire to be with a man. And while I feel like they...
I've done that. I've had desires to go drink beer with a friend of mine rather than go home. Is that the kind of desire you're talking about?
not. You know I'm not.
Okay.
And this develops at a young age.
I don't believe that.
Yeah. You are closed-minded and...
Well, I am not closed-minded. I'm telling you that these things are all choices. And I don't care, that most of your base of your life is done by the time you're 2 years old. You've learned right from wrong already. You know what no means. In fact, a 2-year-old goes around saying no all the time because he knows what no is already.
Heard no over and over and over. That's why he repeats it.
Well, okay, so how do these guys get into this problem then? Because they never learn the meaning of no. Say no, I can't do this.
Had the same feelings, but you learned to say no to those homosexual impulses.
Well, I don't know.
Those impulses, but you were able to control yourself.
That's right.
Well, good for you.
Yeah, good for me.
Yeah. 90 years old, never gave in to your homosexual impulses.
I don't think so, no.
No, not to the best of your knowledge.
All right.
Oh, congratulations. Thanks
Thanks.
for taking my call. It's been great.
Oh, you're welcome.